We made it. We made it. Look at you guys. Paper is back. We are back. Hello, June. Hello, everybody. Miss Cleo better do grab. Man. Yeah, Miss Cleo, I don't know. Asian Steve is back. What's up, everybody? Happy Monday. Hope everybody had a good weekend. I had a pretty good weekend. Yeah, I won't lie. The weekend, I don't know if it's just like I'm getting older. I gave the boy his first haircut. We were like, he's 1.5. And I actually cut his hair on my own. We were like, I don't know how he's going to do at the actual barbers. Oh man, I should have posted something. Oh well, I'll have to post something on my own. But I think it came out pretty good. But it was an eventful weekend for sure. Hope everybody had a good one. Crazy football weekend in the server. Miss Law, what is up? Good afternoon. Good afternoon. Good morning for me. But yeah, so it's a big week, guys and girls. It is a big week. By the way, if you're not subscribed to the channel, give us a subscribe, a like, retweet, whatever. I'm not streaming this on X at all. So I think I'm just going to do this exclusively pretty much on YouTube. So post it, whatever you need to do, get it out there. I like this. I think we'll just switch it on over. And we'll be doing some more stuff on the YouTubes moving forward. I think we got a new show coming. Possibly. Would be cool. I'm excited. We got some cool stuff coming. But yeah, we've been working on a lot of things lately. So we got a lot of stuff coming in the near future. But anyways, if you're new to the channel, welcome. By the way, my name is Jason. What we do here every Monday is we just kind of go over what happened last week. What are we looking forward to this coming week? Maybe we'll get to some trades. I will look at the indices, and if you guys have some tickers that you want to look at as we get down to towards the end of this, go ahead, drop some tickers, and we will we'll take a look at some things. Maybe find some trades or two. But that said, let's kick this off. So my thumbnail is Jay Powell. This is the only real event of the week. This is it, man. This is the moment that we've all been waiting for. We had NFP, which is the non-farm payroll number, not last week, but the week before last, and that is the that's the number that really, that's the event that really sets the trend for the month. And here we are halfway through the month. Sometimes we get a little choppy. We actually got a clean bounce and we are to the upside. And from here, which by the way, I think the market was a little caught off guard. If you couldn't tell, September is normally not so good. And in that September, we'll call it like September swoon, if you will. It's not really technically, and I've been saying this for a while, it's not actually the entire month of September. It's really like a few days, maybe a week or two of just god awfulness sometimes. Unfortunately, this coming event sometimes is the event that kicks it off. And with the data that we've been getting, all roads basically seem to point towards the cut coming on Wednesday. And that's my one concern. We're going to get into some headlines, but I think everybody knows, if you don't know, we have essentially priced in nearly 100%. Well, the market is pricing in, I'm just going to say 100% probability that we're going to get a rate cut on Wednesday. I'm in Pacific, so I'm in California. So Wednesday, 11 a.m. my time. What is that? 2 p.m. Eastern. That we will get at least a 25 basis point cut. So what does that mean? Is this going to be a sell the news event? I think that's the biggest question. Does the rate cut become a sell the news event? And I think that's the only thing we really need to worry about right now. For all other intents and purposes, there's really no reason to sell this market we really haven't like screamed crazy high. So it's not like we're completely over our skis either. And I think we're actually in a decent place. So I between now and then, it looks like we're kind of like steady, choppy. I'm not really into trading a whole lot unless it's, what I'll tell you right now is that unless it's news driven, just completely glaringly obvious of a trade breakout type thing, or an absolute bargain barrel basement like deal, I'm really not super interested in grabbing anything crazy, because Wednesday could be the event of the year. Could be. So other than that, here are the news headlines I got. Evan may or may not be joining us. Evan, by the way, stock market news, may be joining us later on. He had some meetings to get to. So he did text me earlier. I sent him a link if he can make it. But so if you didn't know, I've been on this Tesla trade for a while, and I'm still in the Tesla trade. Amazing last, week or so? I just saw Elon post a little bit ago. He goes, Tesla up $69 as foretold. My targets on Tesla. Does anybody remember my targets on Tesla for like the next few months? He had 420, up $69. I had 600s. Maybe we get 69, 690. I don't know. It's in the cards from a chart perspective, but we're talking months. Anyways, Tesla rallies to an 8-month high after Elon Musk buys roughly $1 billion. I think it was 725 million. I don't know why it says more than $1 billion worth of shares, but that was a huge deal. His first buy since like 2020. One of you guys can notice that. 450 was not my target. 450 was a near-term goal for sure. 420 was a first hurdle. First 400 was a first stop on the road, but 600 like mid next year. Anyways, but this is a catalyst. This is a turning point. This is a marker on the road, and it would be a longer road for sure. Apple also getting a little pump this morning. So Apple breaking records in China with iPhone 17 pre-orders, even though they got a little bit of a headline, I think it was Friday, saying that they might be kind of like stalled out with some tariff stuff. By the way, so there's a lot of tariff news, and I don't have this right now going on this morning. China pushes Trump for visit as high-stake trade talks begin. So we have a lot of trade talks reigniting right now. So we have China-U.S. trade talks starting again. And in that, there are a couple of things happening. So we saw NVIDIA down this morning. China targets NVIDIA over 2020 deal. So China's targeting NVIDIA in the trade negotiations. The U.S. is leveraging this TikTok ban in their trade negotiations. So we're going to see a lot of this back and forth over the next, I don't know, days, weeks, what have you, as long as trade talks are resuming. U.S. officials reach India Monday for trade talks. Also, we don't really have a deal with India yet. So this one is still on deck. Yes, Google hits $3 trillion market cap. Or no, I think it was a $1 trillion market cap. Google was the 4th company or something like that to hit the $1 trillion market cap number. So that was a big one. But yeah, so congrats on the Google Bulls for sure. I think that was a trade for us. I think it was a great investment buy for sure for the long term. 250 on Google this morning today. I mean, geez, that's just epic, right? It's a huge run. It's still going. Google at this point is just kind of like amazing me. It's like I can't really do much on Google anymore just because it's exceeded most of my intermediate targets. And I'm just like sitting here in amazement, like, oh, it's just still going, just still going. So unless I get like some kind of a retracement or pullback, I think you just let it go and ride whatever you have. From an investing perspective, look, you got it. You got it good if you got it in the one anything with a one handle on it. That was a good pickup. No question. I mean, 135, if you caught that, that's huge. You're at a double, nearly a double. Amazon has some kid friendlier clippers than Amazon. So I think I did good. I'll take a look at them though. Speaking of Amazon, there were two other stocks. A couple other stocks. So between the Mag 7s, we have Nvidia, who's dealing with the trade tariffs right now. So if I were to trade Nvidia right now, it would have to be a guess. So I'm just gonna have to set that one off to the side at the moment. Or it's either a guess or it's gonna go in the basket of like, unless it's a crazy bargain discount because of some kind of ridiculous headline that comes out from a trade war perspective that makes it too cheap to ignore, I'm probably not going to do much with that. But if that does happen, for sure, I would probably step in on Nvidia. Other than that, if we get any kind of news on India, I mean, Apple, to me, I know somebody said Apple doesn't do a whole lot. Look, the thing about Google at the time, Tesla at the time at the lows, the thing about these and Apple still, there's just not a lot of good news priced into them. Whether or not you think it's deserving or not, it doesn't really matter. What's true is that there's just not. And if the narrative changes, well, then the narrative changes and all of a sudden the stock price will start to reflect that. So that's kind of what you'd be looking for. Other than that, Wall Street strategists see stock rally stalling on Fed rate cuts. So this is kind of what I was talking about. We're now starting to get a lot of these headlines in terms of, is the rate cut going to be priced in? And I think we're going to start to see that just slightly. I will pull up the calendar in just a little bit, but so this week, high level calendar, New York Empire State Manufacturing Index, really not going to be a big thing. Literally the only thing that's going to matter this week is just Wednesday. Tomorrow we do get retail sales. We also get a 20-year bond auction, which is at this point, at this point, literally nothing else matters except for Wednesday. If we didn't have FOMC Wednesday, I would say maybe a 20-year bond auction might move markets just slightly, but the truth of the matter is, no, it's just not. Same thing with jobless claims on Thursday. Friday rig count's really just nothing. But I'll go ahead and pull this up. So this is the calendar. I'm actually going to take a look at last week really quick so you guys can see where we're coming from. And I might change this. So non-farm payroll revisions actual came in last week down nearly 1 million jobs. That was a big one. PPI. So this was a big headline last week. So PPI, let's see if I can move this a little bit bigger. Yeah, so PPI came in, there you go, negative, this was a crazy one. So negative 0.01, and that's probably one of the best PPIs that we'd seen in a long time. The week prior was 0.7, and that had moved the markets considerably. The forecast was for a positive 0.3, so this is producer price index. Getting this last Wednesday, that's a market moving event for sure. And this kind of sparked some more rallies. And then CPI, which is CPI is the market's favorite inflation gauge. It's not the Fed's. The reason the CPI is the market's favorite inflation gauge is because they look at this. Oops, there it is. Headline inflation rate. And when you think about the Fed has two charters. One is to promote full employment. Two is to keep price stability. And what they look at is they're trying to target a 2% inflation rate. And when we say 2% inflation rate, we're talking about this annualized number. So at 2.9%, if it was 2%, then everybody, all right, for sure, we're cutting. But 2.9% is probably okay year over year. And this is the core at 3%. So can we, I guess that's the question. Do we really need to move on this? Consumer sentiment, yeah, not a big deal. So moving forward to the rest of the week, this week, again, manufacturing coming in negative, what have you. Tomorrow, retail sales, nothingness really. Building permits, so housing stats Wednesday, and then we have a oil status report. And this is where it comes down to FOMC projections. The actual Fed conference is at 11:30 my time. The decision comes out at 11 a.m. Pacific. So there you go. This is where the fireworks are going to kick off. If I look at the CBOE Fed Watch tool right now, and this is what's going to tell us where we are today. And when I say what's priced in, if you were to look at probabilities, so we are 96.1% that we do get a 25 basis point cut, and then 3.9% that we get a 50 basis point cut. I don't know. If let's say we got a 50 basis point cut, and here's the thing, is that so we get one in September, October, and December. FOMC meeting. Right now, the market is forecasting that we have 25 basis point, another one here, and then another one in December. That came out really funky. So 25 basis points every FOMC meeting between now and the end of the year. Even if we were to get a 50 basis point cut this Wednesday, I don't know that that's even going to be bullish for the market, because what are they going to price in for October? Are they going to price in another one? Or are they going to price in that we're just going to stall or wait? So I think that is the question. Yeah, Patrick, 325 basis points exactly. And that's reflected here, 1, 2, 3. And coming from where we were, I think it's better, because where we were, it was actually that we had a 10% probability the other day of a 50 basis point cut coming into Wednesday's FOMC, and I was not really a big fan of seeing that. So I'm like, that's probably not ideal. So for all intents and purposes, right now, we are looking at a 25 basis point cut, which means that it basically comes down to commentary. I almost feel like this is going to come down. If the market's pricing this in near perfect, I'm a little torn. Does this mean that we go sideways? Or do we say, what do we have to look forward to? I think that's the question. It's one of the two, because the market's always forward looking. It's going to turn into trade war deals, trade tariff deals. What is the market going to be looking forward to? That's always the question. Let me see if I can pull up. I'm just going to pull up Evan's post, and we'll just see. Do we have any other catalysts? So again, I want to stay kind of news driven. So let's see what we do have. So Seeking Alpha has an asset entry. No, I don't want to do that. Iridium, IPO. I've not seen. So Workday, Ralph Lauren. Not seeing a whole lot of stuff on the catalyst. So Meta. So this was interesting. If I were to go back to this slide and say, if the TikTok ban becomes an issue that could be a catalyst for Meta shares, possibly. So that's interesting. Flagship Meta Connect conference for developers. So that's Wednesday also. So Meta has an event. I didn't have that on the radar. So shout out Evan and Seeking Alpha Catalyst Watch. So Meta Connect conference for developers, AI, XR, wearable technology. That's a big one. Event could impact a range of tech companies: Microsoft, NVIDIA, Apple, Unity Software, Qualcomm. All right, so something else to look forward to on Wednesday, in addition to FOMC. Zoom holding flags, Zoomtopia, MongoDB investor site, not really going to be the big thing. And that's a big event. So Meta Connect on Wednesday. I would have missed that otherwise. FedEx, Lennar. Faraday Future. JPL is coming, yeah. Oh, nice. He's got a good there's the calendar that we just went through. And then earnings hubs. Cracker Barrel with the new logo. I own some Lennar. I guess I could. So some big home builders to report on Thursday. DRI and Lennar. These are Buffett companies for sure. General Mills, Manchester United, and Cracker Barrel. Is there anything else going on? Yeah, a lot of Fed stuff. Huh? That's literally it. There's nothing else. Hawkish Powell, I have no idea. I think it's going to come down. So in terms of the commentary, it may not, I don't even know if he's going to have anything to say. Do you guys remember the multiple dissents last time? It might be more about how many dissents we have. And what are those dissents? Who are the dissenters? And do they think that we should not cut rates at all? Or are they going to, or how many people thought that we should do a 50 basis point cut? That kind of thing. So I know this is really small. Quite frankly, that's honestly, if I were to guess, that's probably what we're going to come down to. I'm okay with sideways FOMC. I mean, it could sell off. We just never know. We just never know. All right, guys. Well, actually, I got through most of this pretty quickly, but this is what that leaves us with. There's really not going to be a whole lot to get through. And so I'm going to keep this one pretty quick. So before we get into the charts, let's check in with our good friend, Ms. Cleo, who did give us a forecast for the week. Okay, we're ready. I don't know if you saw this one, but I did see this. I really don't remember this card, but this is the theme card. So if it is a sell-off, I'm not so sure what Miss Cleo's saying here or not. This segment, by the way, is for comedic relief only. That is literally it. But I don't know, guys. I don't know what these things mean. That's all I can say. Anyways, so we start off with the moon, which is what it is. I don't really know what that means. There's a little lobster down there at the bottom. That's cool. But 2 dogs barking at the moon. There's some pillars, and looks like we're trying to, maybe we're getting chased by the lobster towards the end. Great. Yeah. And then the devil, I have learned sometimes though, guys, you guys end the stream now. I don't know. I have learned sometimes that these cards may look bad, but sometimes they're not so bad. So we have to see. We have to see what she says. The devil, yeah, I don't know. I really don't know what to say here. But looks like we're coming into a crossing. We're coming towards the end of a journey, and maybe we think we were, and we end up not going to the place we thought we were going to go. I don't know. But there's the coin person again. And then I remember this guy is that we're fighting off some people, and we're trying to protect what we have. That I remember. The orange. Yeah. No, I don't know, man. This is the end. The devil is open door getting to 20. Dude, see? You never know. Oh, look. Evan has made it just in time for his interpretation.
Whoa. What is up?
This is what we got for the week. How's your weekend, bud?
Crazy. Everything has been absolutely crazy. Now it looks like this does not look good. This does not look very good.
Well, look. Sometimes they look worse than they are, right? This is what we've learned over the years.
The moon,
but we
the devil.
now know what this one is. So we're fighting off some foes, and we're trying to protect something. So what I can say is, if we're trying to protect something, at least we have something left over to protect, right?
That's fair. I guess. I don't know, man. This is not. I mean, I'm stabbed in the back on the beach.
Well, that's the theme card. Stabbed in the back of the beach. I mean, J. Powell has a thing, like how that's kind of like his deal. We just went over it. We're priced nearly to perfection. What can he say what can we say to make the markets go higher? I don't know. We will have to find out. Can you pull something good on? I like the lobster. Lobster looks good. 2 dogs being chased through the pillars. That's today. We did hit an upside target for the day. We gotta hold steady though. We gotta hold steady on the chart. And the devil's like hit or miss. But anyways, let's here we go. So here's the summary. 9 of Swords. She literally starts out with an uh-oh. I really don't know what to say about that. She literally starts with an uh-oh. This is ominous. Uh-huh. Oh, great. Okay, but is it final death to the bears? Yes, Patrick. I like the lobsters. This card signals final death. I guess we just have to decide, is it final death for the bears or the bulls? We don't know. And not just a normal death. There you go. But being stabbed in the back. Yeah, I don't know, man. Not good. So it follows the King of Pentacles, which doesn't mean much on its own. So let's go to history. Mean reversion is the pattern. That's not good. But it's not a very strong one. Okay. Meaning that it's a bit all over the place. I would be concerned about a week of sell patterns. All right. Well, let's see. Monday, the moon. Look for a trend day here. Usually a high chance of mean reversion, but Friday was pretty flat, so who knows? She doesn't know. Look for a chance to chase momentum, but only if the trend becomes obvious overnight or early in the session. Friday's flat close could rob this card again. Okay. Tuesday, the devil. This card brings chop when following a trend day and trend when following a chop day. I think we're trendy to start, but now we're coming back in. We'll have to see what the close looks like. We're definitely trending from the overnight session. Definitely trending from the overnight session all the way up. I mean, that's a big move. Straight line vertical. We just started to have a little sideways action now. All right, Wednesday. 4 Pentacles. This message, the message behind this card is that we are clutching. Oh, man. We're clutching to our coin. This is FOMC day. Clutching to our coins too tightly to make any progress. So we just sit stuck in place until J. Powell comes out. The card's history is confusing because it mean reverts 70% of the time, but it's only day following major arcana brought continuation. What are we following? The devil. Okay. I think we should consider it as an option, but prepare for a retracement that could trend pretty quickly. Honestly, I'm thinking like even if we get a big ginormous dip, is it going to be buyable? That's my thing. It might be buyable dip. Anyways, Thursday, Hierophant. This week is bringing the heat with tons of majors. This one tends to try and restore structure to portions of the chart that may be lacking a fill. When it trends, it's usually to the upside. Otherwise, it's chop city. Look for it to find a zone and settle and stick around for a while. She really doesn't know. Guys, I'm not really seeing the stabbed in the back situation here, quite frankly, unless it shows up here. Friday, 7 of Wands. This card shows a man dealing with surprise attack. The Wands signal that the action will be highly impulsive. Lots of whipsaws. Look for a gap up or down. Oh, that was the surprise attack one. Okay, but she called a surprise attack last time and she was wrong. We did not get a surprise attack. Mean reversion chop has the highest chance of ruling this day. Day traders have a good day, but it will be a nightmare for swing traders. So you say. This week shows a lot of big but back and forth energy. There are a few trend cards, but fear is another week that goes nowhere. Hey, listen. So if we're looking at a stabbed in the back kind of card, and the recap is another week that goes nowhere, I'm just going to call it right now and say that's a win. So if she's saying it's a week that goes nowhere, I would be pretty happy with that result, having this as a theme card. Just going to say it. But anyways, that's what we got. I think I didn't have this out there, but we did have. Ooh, is that the right one? No. I had another. I must not have updated the earnings slide, but we did have some earnings. We're pretty good on earnings.
Did you go through the Catalyst Watch?
I did. We had the earnings Meta one here. It was 23 beats.
Okay, paper.
Yeah, 23
When I was
beats, 5 misses so far. NVIDIA CRM having come out. Those two did beat. We looked at yours and I didn't know, but yeah, Meta was probably the biggest Meta Connect conference.
Dumb. I was so excited for that Meta Connect conference. I made the title and everything around that instead of Powell, which it clearly should have been. But I'm buying those glasses with a display the second they come out. I'm so excited.
Wait, do you have a picture of the product somewhere?
No, it was that one. I used that cover photo instead of doing one with Powell, which I probably would have normally done on a Powell week. This is a big Powell week too. But
It's
Wednesday
the Powell week.
Wednesday night, Meta, Mark Zuckerberg releasing new glasses. These are going to have $800 apparently. They're going to have a heads-up display on them. Ooh.
Heads-up display?
Yeah, it's going to like have basically you're going to have a screen, like a display on your like Meta Ray-Ban glasses.
What's it called?
I don't know exactly what they're going to call it yet. I don't think this is quite Orion, which is what was rumored to maybe be coming. But like
Hypernova.
Is that what someone said in the chat? I don't know. We'll see Wednesday at 8 p.m. But the rumor is smart glasses, the Ray-Bans one, heads-up display, going to be released at the event. $800 with the number being thrown around.
$800. That's not bad.
Depends how good and useful the display is, but I mean, glasses is quite the form factor. I'm excited for it, and the Ray-Bans are pretty good.
Cross-platform Horizon OS updates.
Smart glasses expansion ecosystem. You learn about high resolutions.
These are probably not the best, most reliable.
Listen, we'll see Wednesday, but I think that that's one that I'm excited about. But obviously, Powell is gonna move the entire thing. He's gonna move the entire market. We know they're cutting rates, but it's what's he gonna say? We also get a summary of economic projections. Were you talking about that?
No. Which one are you referring to? Summary.
FOMC economic projections. Their Powell releases at 2 p.m. Eastern.
You mean the dot plot?
Yeah, that's the dot plot. The dot
Where
plot.
do you view your dot plot?
Go to I go to the website. It's on there. If you if you just federalreserve.gov, sorry. And then you got to find the schedule. How do I find the schedule from here? It is. Give me a second. Actually, I'm just going to send you a link. Okay, DM it to you or through the Discord?
Twitter.
Okay. There you go. So that's the link and then scroll down up a little bit now. Yeah, that's where it's going to release. So it's going to the 17th, and then you see how it has a star next to it. That means there's a summary of economic projections. And then on like if you go up to the June meeting, that was the last one where it says projections material PDF. No, that's minutes. Right below that, right? Yeah, there we go. And then scroll down a little. That's it. So right there, that one and the far left column of it, the median is everything you need to know, and the rest of the entire doc is kind of telling you shapes around it. So like even like it tells you, yeah, and then look at the bottom of that. It tells you like what they expect the rate to be. That's basically the dot plot consensus. That part there, yeah. And this gets out instantly right at 2 p.m. Eastern on the FOMC day.
Yeah.
There
you go. The dots.
And what that is every single FOMC member tells you what they expect rates are going to be at the end of the cycle. So it says 2025, that means end of 2025, 2026 means the end of that time. And one thing to also note, this is every Fed member, not voting members. So a couple of these votes, a good amount of them just don't matter when it comes to what's actually happening. But we don't necessarily know which one's which.
These guys are like all over the place. From what is that? 375 to 2.5. A huge range. Who's way up here? Yeah, to me it was like
their comments, dovish, bearish, and the rest of it hawkish. The rest of it is just a lot of into the weeds data, which I don't really look into.
Yeah. How many dissenters do you think we're going to have this time?
More than, I don't know, actually. So normally what happens is everyone gives their opinion, and then the Fed comes to a consensus. You don't normally have dissenters, so people might disagree. People are going to definitely say 50. People are definitely going to say 0. But are they going to get behind the consensus? I don't know. My read is there will be 0 dissenters, and we're going to go 25. There will be 0 official dissenters. They're going to come out after and say, hey, 50, I think we should have done 50. I think this was a mistake. There's going to be 1 or 2 people that come and say, I think we shouldn't have done any, which I don't know how you do that at this point. And
look at this. Yeah. This is
what it looks like. Yeah.
Confidence interval. My God, it's all over the place. Like, really?
So my read is 0 official dissenters.
That's I mean,
cut by 25. Powell tells us next meeting is going to be live. I don't think he'll tell us this is the start of a cycle, but I think he will not close the door. I think he's going to say next meeting is live for sure.
Yeah.
That comes out right at 2 p.m. Eastern. And you want to go, your eyes should go first to that table 1 at the top, the left side of it, the median, and how that compares to the previous one.
They like the dots, dude.
They like the dots, but that's just, it's a little confusing for some.
I just want to know what kind of shape it is. Is it another little man? Or is there more people up here? Or do they all just migrate down? They want to see them migrate. How many up here? Only 1.
BMNR. I want to get ahead of everyone else writing stuff in the chat.
Now we got to start with SPY. All right. So what I will do. Let me set this up real quick.
Chad, if you are in here hanging out and you guys haven't gave the stream a like, you should definitely go in and do that. And make sure you are subscribed to Paper Gains' channel. You should also go tell 3 friends that we are live right here. Maybe you show them the recording after, but no more, no less. 3 friends.
Yeah. I said I'm only going to do this. Just going to shift. Just going to do this on YouTube exclusively now. And we're going to start shifting because we will start. I gave him a little teaser.
Me and Paper Gains also have some conversations to have on the back end. A lot of stuff going on, exciting things for the future. But yeah, just if you enjoy learning stuff, and if you enjoy Paper Gains, and if you enjoy the stuff that we do, I think you're going to be a very excited person going forward.
I agree.
If you hate Paper Gains and if you hate us, might be a rough
If you like
time.
Technical Tuesdays, you like Evan, and you like learning, you might like what we have coming on. All right. So this is where we were. So this is just the index level really quick. So this is our NFP zone. This was Friday's range right here. These lines that I have outlined. So these were targets. I put these out in our servers. It's probably the first time you guys are seeing this. I'll just use a 30-minute candlestick chart just to give it a little bit cleaner. Ideally, you guys should be able to see this. Let me just move change the setting just a little bit so you guys hopefully can see this a little bit better. I'm looking at the stream on a different monitor. It looks okay to me, just okay. Maybe I could probably boost this a little bit for. Yeah, you're good. All right, so this is Friday's range. And when we're up in kind of like no man's land, it's a little tough to come up with targets. But interestingly enough, we know how to do it. So what we do is we have to use something called a fib extension. And that's how we came up with these two targets right here. So this is literally taking this box, doubling it. And that's essentially how we landed at 660 right there. So first target has now been acquired. If we get to another one, that's how we're going to get to that green number here, 669.88. But for now, what that means is that first major target has been acquired. And there's going to be really like these two little areas. So the halfway points in between each of those boxes, 667 is going to show up on blue on your screen. 667 to 666, call it, is going to be about a midway point. Each one of those is going to be can be possibly at a level to stop at, as well as a midway point here. So 657, give or take, could potentially be a pullback. This blue line that says BOS on my screen, break of structure, that is Wednesday's high. So the first day, and the way that we do this is that we're looking for a full day open and close above Friday's range. And we didn't have it. What we did know is that this Friday's range typically, historically, marks the high or the low for the entire month, more often than not. And what we saw as we started to go through this is that, well, the truth was that we came closer to testing the high multiple times, and at no point were we really even coming close to testing the lows. So from the gate, it was more likely that we had actually locked the low of the month on that Friday's print for NFP from that moment. And even when we look at this and we go left to right, and if I just use a basic fib retracement, looking at it this way, this is a bullish retracement. Even these little blips here, that actually is right in to a golden retracement area. So it's a bullish retracement hold at a 50% mark of Friday's range. So any way you sliced it, as we were looking at this, these two halfway pullbacks were actually bullish coming into that. And again, but we had not had a full day's open and close until we had this day, which was a full day open, but we didn't get the close. This day we did have a full day open, and we did have a full day close above. And then this day we had an open above, boom, exact, to the penny. Look at that. To the penny trigger right there. And you're absolutely closing above. You're up and you're out. You're ready to roll. At this point, for us, you are just going up, right? And really, from here on out, to me, what this means is that I'm just not thinking about going short. To me, that means that there's no reason to short this market. I'm not looking for shorts, period, end of story. All of that nonsense kind of goes out of my brain. I'm only looking for longs. That's just how it is. Even if I was thinking about a short, I'm probably more inclined to think that my short setup might be failing at this point, or is more likely to fail at this point. Now, that said, we do have FOMC coming, and that could change that. But again, that's how this works. And as long as we're continuing to the upside, look, I have target 1 here. I have a halfway point into target 2, and I have my target 3 at 670, give or take, assuming everything stays the course. Now, tomorrow can be a pullback, and that's fine. But when I said it could be a pullback, where's my pullback level? It's 652.21. So even if tomorrow we have a big, or Wednesday, sorry, big nasty move to the downside, if we hold this level, yeah, I'm a buyer. If we hold this level, boom, 621, 652.21, I'm a buyer. Just like this moment, I'm a buyer. If we retest that level right there, I'm a buyer. If that happens, just because something gets to my level doesn't mean I'm instantly going to buy. But anything here, 643, remember, if this day marks the high or the low for the month, odds are that even if we break this, this is going to be more likely than not the low for the month. And this, so even if this does come down here, these are my two major support zones right here. So here and here, very likely this is it. But if for whatever reason 652 does break, I don't know what would have to happen. But if that does, I just don't see 643 breaking without some other kind of fundamental event that shakes this current story of the market. And again, like, dude, if that were to happen, a drawdown like that is going to be pretty decent. Oops. Anyways, but only taking us back to where we were. But I don't think that we would see anything lower than that right now. Very similar story here. Where's my, come on. Very similar story here. Pretty much exact same story here. I don't know why I don't have the setup, but again, you can see that bullish retracement all the way through. Oops. And the extensions on this, I'll just reverse this just for a quick setup. Again, same thing, initial target, acquired 590. Next target would be in that 600 range with the halfway point right around 595 if we do continue on to the upside. But exact same setup. Did we lock the high or the low for the month so far? Absolutely. This day deadlocked the low for the month right there, 571. Did I get my full trigger? You guys saw that halfway bullish retracement hold here. I had my first open. I didn't get a clean close, but over here I did get an open. I did get a close. I had a clean break of structure all the way through, by the way. That's pretty clean right there. Very clean. And then here again, breaking up, going to the upside, hitting that upside trigger right here and right now. So as long as we continue to make higher highs and higher lows, yeah, I think this can. Do we get stabbed in the back? Sure, maybe. That's fine. But now I know where my opportunity lies to get some kind of a dip buy. That's 571, really heavy downside, and 581, 581.12. Most likely something like that would be 581.12. Very likely holds in my mind. There's not really, that would be a fundamental level unless something changes, which it could, but that should hold for the foreseeable future right now. But yeah, that's how the system works, and it's pretty clean. But again, here now, there's just no reason. Market's not selling. They're not selling this market. They're just not selling this market. I don't really know how you can look at this and not think that this is a strong market. That said, where does that take us for the rest? This is diamonds, and where do you go from here? If you're really having a hard time chasing all-time highs, you're thinking like, how do I do this? Look, there are two other primary indices that are primed. This is where we are on DIA. This is the industrial index right now. This, we got our open inside. We got to open above, close above. We're good. We got to open above. What's happening as we speak? This is your industrials. As we speak, we have the exact same setup happening 2-day. Seen this before? Yeah, sure have. So who is in the diamonds? I call this the diamonds, the DIA. This is like Boeing, Microsoft, Apple. This would be a launching platform for that cohort of stocks. So apparently it's also Uber, transports, things like that. If this can hold above 458.64, that entire sector, Dow 30, would be ideal. So this is a lot of financials. This is even like UNH, but this is Apple, Amazon, Microsoft. What else? Walmart, things like that. If we get this rate cut thing, here's the other one that has maybe even this is the redheaded stepchild of the group. So IWM, I will just say, has not actually confirmed its breakout. It's been stuck sideways, and probably the biggest watch of the group. It's stuck in between like a December range. So here's a December range right here. When I say December range, just so you know, December range is here. This is what that looks like. This is the last time we were in a December range, and we had a huge breakdown, which, by the way, that was an FOMC breakdown. That. And we're about to see another FOMC. So if there was an index that had the most rocket power, I guess, I would venture to say that it actually would be IWM. From this perspective, this is an all-time high line in terms of a catch-up trade. So I would actually go and say 240 would be that major breakout level if you want to be really cautious, just to get over all of your NFP levels. 241. If IWM is trending over 241, this guy, and if I just make this cleaner and take these lines off, is right here. And you'll start to see it a little bit as I zoom out here. This could be wild. So this kind of a breakout, if the small caps catch wind, yeah, it's been dealing with a lot of overhead resistance. But this breakout, if it breaks out, could be violent. Could be. It's not happening yet. But it's definitely something to pay attention to, because it's being held back right now. So this would be, I hate to say it, but it could be your open doors. It's a lot of rates sensitive tickers. But the setup here is that if this does happen to go, it could be like one of those beach balls held underwater that's just been just finally let loose after years. But anyways, that's the current setup. So other than that, we'll just do a quick quick check on some of the things. So dollar, we don't need NFP levels here. You can, but dollar continuing to go lower. This is still somewhat bullish for gold traders. Near term, can continue to have like a headwind, like continue to have tailwinds for equities. I can't believe this dollar chart is just like, this is crazy, but just keeps going down, down, down. It is what it is. You don't want to see this really flipping the other way. Gold, another day, another giant, enormous green candle. When you see the dollar chart the way that it is, like you can't really not get this. But just again, I don't see this thing slowing down anytime soon. VIX, if you're watching the VIX, I think this is just a little bit of pre-FOMC jitters. I'll say that much. I wouldn't read too much into that small pop right now. In crypto, I don't think there's a lot to do on the crypto front. I don't think these catalysts are going to be really don't think these catalysts go too much into the crypto space, but yes, yes, NFP levels work for crypto. There you have it. On Ethereum, done and done. And yes, they work on Bitcoin also. But it wasn't able to get through. Actually, I'm sorry. So Bitcoin did get through, but it got to the next target. So the way this works, September through, and then you go to the next level, which is an August NFP level, which it got to. Do I have one higher? I don't have one higher. So Bitcoin already got to its target near term. Look at that. There's your proof it works on crypto. Anyways, all right. What was your ticker, Evan? Oh, I lost him. Evan had a ticker, but I know his was, forgot what it was. I'll do a couple. And I'll scroll up here in a little bit. So Apple, I think, so big news on Apple. It's not really there. I think you give this a little bit of time. Somewhat concerning. This is going to be trade dependent, trade headline dependent. Yeah, I think you give this one some time. You're just coming up into some overhead resistance. This guy you want to see hold possibly something like this, and that would need to come out. But any kind of retracement here, we'd want to see some kind of bullish retracement holding this area. That's what that's going to need to look like around the 20-day and have this level hold the support. So this can come in, make a higher low, and that's going to be safe if that's safe. And before I get to your request, I'll do one more, two more maybe. So Microsoft, this is a big watch for me as a reversal. So these yellow lines, which you probably cannot see, I just put a box here. That's that prior month candle. Huge earnings beat, but the stock had sold off. Big earnings move. We're now 45 days into a holding pattern, just over 45 days. This is usually about how long it takes for a company to like burn off the volatility, for people to like get over the fact that it gave back all of its earnings move, and then for them to come back and take a look at it. Then the setup is this is what we would call like a liquidity grab, or that failure to break down further. And that's just slightly under 500. Then the confirmation, which comes into here and now, this exact moment, this is last week's candle. So we already have the starting point at sub 500, failure to go down on the month. If we can hold over 512.5 for Microsoft, what this is going to do is going to set you up very similar to, it's actually going to set you up very similar to like a Tesla almost, and have some sort of reversal begin. I'll give you a couple steps, assuming that, I hate to say that, assuming that that FOMC continues and doesn't completely blow this trade out of the water. You have your failed downward move, failed breakdown. And then you have this here as the beginning of like your upward trajectory. So that's 512.5. Two spots here. Over that level, you get into 518. Over that 518, you get to 525. So that would actually be the average week's range for literally just this week, put you at 525. Literally just, that's a lot, I know, but that's what it would put you for an average week's range. Anything over 525, and you are actually looking at a full-blown recovery through the month into 540s again. And then if you can get to that 540s area and extend, in that case, then you're looking at a reversal into the 560s plus. Again, assuming that FOMC doesn't just completely derail us, because what's true is fundamentals, tweets, things like that, as good as my technical setup can be, those things are going to be greater than technicals. So you have to keep a close ear to the pulse of the market of whatever else is going on. But this is setting up really good for a pretty nice push towards the end of the week in short order. And a pretty major reversal if this can hold the course and have like this kind of like rounding bottom here, get a little bit of a base, and then launch it into that, let's call it eating season. You could see like way higher towards the end of the year once we do turn it around. All right, I'm just going to roll up and see where we are here. And I'll take a couple. Rocket. I see UNH. Just checking. I'm going. Yeah, I see Rocket a couple times. BMNR. So Rocket Mortgage. So I think this is all race play. So Rocket Mortgage sideways for now. I think this is gonna go sideways until you get the announcement. This is gonna land directly into that small cap section. I think this goes sideways until you get that catalyst. So I would hang tight on this until you get that catalyst. This guy would be like 26, 25 plus. I think it just depends on your perspective. I should be looking at something much. Depends on your time horizon here, honestly. I think this is well on its way of an existing move. Yeah, so this guy is already on its way of an existing move that was to 25.58. As long as it's holding 21, all the way up is still, I have confluence to 25.5 plus. Assuming that stays in play. Well, this is going. Yeah, it's going to be small chunks, maybe 28s at most. Which is a lot for Rocket. 28s is massive. But you're at the top of a very large, and I think this is probably a lot of short squeeze stuff too. I think a lot of the float here is short. Which makes it pretty hard. Not hard, but it can throw off a lot of TA. Yeah, if you get through this shelf, it can just go a little wild. And that would put me in around the 28s. And I'd have to go in from a valuation perspective. You're at like 45 billion here. BMNR. I think let's see. So you're coming in. I don't think you would sell this. So you come in. Oops, wrong tool. $48s. So you came off the 40s, 38 level here. You have a little push higher out of that zone, and you essentially need to come in and and see that this prior level that people were thinking, myself included, for a little while here, see how this was that prior resistance, and then it started to act as some kind of support in this area. What we're going to do is we're trying to drag this over, and I have some confluence where if I took that here, and I say, okay, from the lows, let's call this swing low, to swing high. You guys see it right now? Swing low to swing high of this, just this most recent press up here, a bullish retracement could take me here where I base out and start a new leg. And that would kind of form a really nice kind of base to set this up for that next leg higher. So I think you be patient and not try to press this one. This is probably a more healthier setup than you would expect. If you wanted it to just continue to space out to the upside, even if it did, I think you'd expect at most 65, and I think it could. So it's possible that if it does go, first of all, if it goes, it has to be over 55. So if it goes over 55, that this is happening here, but it's not, I don't see this cracking through 55, 65 right now. In the meantime, some kind of basing formation in this area is perfectly fine, but the potential for this to happen, like boom, is also there on BMNR. So I think you just like let it be from an equity perspective. I'm not, unless it's over 55 in strength, or you have some kind of, I guess, leap or some flavor of that on. You have to be really careful with volatility here. I wouldn't want to be short volatility because this could probably bite your face right off. But this is how I see BMNR. Any pullback here would be actually pretty constructive as long as it is holding 44s. I think you are fine. I am fine because I own this guy and I am staying the course. So that is that one. Someone asked for UNH here. I think 360s, 75, give or take, right in this area. 375 is a big level right over here. And that is going to come in twofold. So from here to here. So first of all, you don't see this probably on my screen. This is a quarterly box, quarterly candle here. Similar setup to what I was just outlining on Microsoft, where you have this failed move downside. That's what started this. And then from there, you have a monthly candle here. That's a monthly, that's last month, that actually pushes you as a breakout right here. And then the weekly candle, well, right now, the weekly candle is here. And so until you're able to break out of the weekly candle, what you can expect is some kind of a basing formation that would leave you with a bullish retracement right around 330 until you're able to get through 362 and change. This 367 level on my charts comes from over here. So you have a lot of traffic around like 367, just under 370. So to get stuffed right there, I think is perfectly normal. Again, a really bullish retracement would still be around 330. And if I pull that back and show you, like, here's that level, that is just going to be a retesting of this total zone, right? So like this is that zone here that you just broke out of. If this did something like that, that's still going to be pretty bullish. So that's what I would be expecting. Is this a big dip? No, it's totally not. Again, UNH, I wouldn't be, by the way, just paid a dividend. So this is very normal. Ex-dividend date was today. So that happens whenever you have an ex-div date. So it's ex-dividend date, 2/21. So let this kind of get its footing after an ex-dividend date. This is to be expected. And so you let this get its footing. It can come down as low as whatever. But once it's over 362.5, then it's back on its way. I would not. So for sure, I think this gets a little trepidation somewhere between 375. Oops. Just somewhere around 380 and might get stuck. But if it can get through that, then this has basically a date with 420. If it can get through 380, it has a date with 420, like very quickly. But that might be more of a fundamental thing. Although I think I read some headlines that UNH has some meetings coming to meet with the White House soon. So they're trying to do something. They had some press releases come out. Obviously, recently they came out and they're trying to move some stuff around. So TM and Netflix, and I'm gonna call it TM. Looks like you're gonna retest 80. Netflix here. I like this morning's wick. Ooh, that's around 1181. Again, right there. That's a good start to a liquidity grab. Then I would look at this guy at 1190, just kind of like honing on this little high, the last low before so this is the last low. This is the low before the last low. I'm going to hone in on this one and say, if this can hold anywhere in here, then I might have the beginnings of a failed breakdown, because this high is a higher high. Even though this low breaches, this whole thing could be a higher low. So from a trend count, I am now looking for higher low to show up after a higher high. This is good. Now I want to see confirmation, something like that. So yeah, that's an interesting setup, and that's going to sit me somewhere on this. You have a little bit of a volume shelf to get through, but that's a very interesting squeezy type setup. One to watch. It's a tough week for sure on deck, but there you go. Vlad's got Amazon, another one, definite watcher for me. So earnings on deck. So Amazon's in the box right now of that monthly setup. So again, very tight, very high. Has it broken out of that earnings gap? No, similar to Microsoft, except Microsoft is at the lows, whereas Amazon is not. So I'm looking for Amazon to make a move. I'm looking for Microsoft to kind of copy what Amazon has done so far. So Microsoft's more of a catch-up trade. And so Amazon's coming here. What I need to see is Amazon get over that 234 area. But until then, this setup is actually getting somewhat constructive, holding over 231, and this little volume shelf here, it is getting constructive, actually. And apparently I'm going to Amazon and buying some more things, specifically like child-friendly clippers for my son's haircuts that I'm now doing. Anyways, but yeah, this is interesting. This is a watch. Perfect example of a watch. It's a setup. It's high. It's tight. It's a risky time to take a trade with FOMC. If it becomes glaringly obvious to me Meaning, and what is glaringly obvious? Glaringly obvious is over 234 or like in strength, some kind of news catalyst, something like that. Sure, I might take this on a very short-term perspective, or if something like if it becomes like a big bargain, maybe, right? But this is something I would watch for sure. Another one that might become like a big bargain, maybe like a Boeing, since this is in a sector that diamonds, the sector, DIA, is looking better. If this is coming into like a key place to retest, and if the sector as a whole is starting to turn around, this gets me a little bit more interested, especially coming into an area of support. If I get something like this that becomes like a deeper discount and I get a trigger, which by the way, this is not here, but at the very beginnings of a potential reversal, remember how we've set up all the other setups. This right here is my monthly candle. This, you don't see it, but these are what I just did. I just drew this box. This is that monthly candle. This morning, I just got the beginnings of that liquidity grab that we've kind of highlighted multiple times so far. And this is the beginning of one of those setups. So this was one where like, okay, either I have really good trade location, which makes, and I have some kind of confluence where one, I know to me, I'm not really looking to short anything anymore. And if I can find something with really good trade location, which this would be one, then do I have some kind of news catalyst that would be cool? Or this something down here at the lows. I'm really not trying to, it's like buy low, sell high. If it's at the highs, unless it's a catalyst driven trade or just glaringly obvious in my mind, it's a little risky with the FOMC on deck, unless my trade location is just epic like this, and I can get some kind of catalyst. Even this is like, well, it's definitely a watch, but I got to be cautious. I'm on my toes this week for sure, and I think we're going to know. So I don't need to have, there's not a lot of reasons for me to really press a whole lot of bets. Look, last week, an epic week for me, for my crew, even this weekend. I mean, the sports betting channel was just like on fire. I can't believe what they did. But yeah, it's been an amazing ride so far. This is not the time for me to go out on a limb and really risk a bunch of profits. This is more of the time to like be a little bit more selective, protective, and make sure that whatever I do moving forward is going to compound a lot of those gains that I've been able to make, or that you guys have been able to make over the last few weeks, because this is the time where it needs to count. So, it's not the time to get overly reckless. But all right, guys, that's it for me for now. Make sure you subscribe to the channel so that you guys get notified for what the next stuff comes, when the next stuff starts showing up down the road. There will be a new show coming eventually, and we have a lot of cool stuff coming on sooner than later. But appreciate all you guys, and I will see you on the next one. Adios. Peace.